Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your sexy ranch hand co-host Kalder. This is episode 314. We're going to talk about the Avengers versus the Masters of Evil starter set, all the beautiful new Fantastic Four news and sculpts that we've seen. And go deep dive into Thread Dead Redemption. So howdy, let's get rowdy. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Joining me in the studio, like always, is my best frenemesis, Simeon Bruce. What's going on, Simeon?
Ooh, it's Resident Evil 2, and I'm Nemesis. I'm gonna stalk you for most of the game, and then be a real bad boss fight.
But Nemesis is really good in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Okay,
is
I
he?
Say real good. He's like solid, and he's
think I actually
right
have
Marvel
that.
vs. Capcom 4. You should. It's one of the best fighting games of all
and
time.
4? I have 3.
Well, 4 is only for
I also
PS4,
have the one
so I
where
imagine you don't have it.
So I have the one where they fight Galactus at the end.
That's fun. I think I beat that game 10 or 15 times just as different people, just because it's fun to fight Galactus at the end.
Yeah, and that game was fun because you could like combine like powers and stuff. So if you had like a team up combo, you could use like a team up combo, not like that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, where you couldn't team up combo, or that game Heroclix where you could team up combo. Nothing like those.
That is, I gotta tell you what, it's a real shame.
All right.
All this heat. Oh man. Oh. Poor child. Poor child. These poor games. Okay, but all right. Seriously though. Like always, we've been talking for an hour, and we just now decided that we should probably record a show. So all of that great discussion is out the window. We're sorry, guys. It is recorded, but it's probably going to be a Patreon only. It's never going to see the light of day. I don't know why I'm lying to you, listener. Anyways.
Yeah. The NSA
like
can listen
always,
to it as much as they want.
Yeah. I'm sure. No, they don't care. I was like, there's one NSA guy who's really big into Heroclix, and he's like, man, I'm so glad that I have these two, or one of them. As
so glad I was assigned to these guys.
Assigned? Yeah. No. I imagine the one person that is like hating this right now. It's like, guys, quit. I better hit use cookies on my laptop so we can eat something. Anyways, we like to start every single week with what made us happy. Simeon, what made you happy this week, my man?
This week, what made me happy was getting out of the sun for a few days, because it has been unbearably hot.
It is.
No, we did some cool stuff this week. I managed to start a small grass fire, less than 30 square feet, I'd say. So it was contained at a certain point once my coworkers realized that I was not containing it by myself. So it was perfectly fine. Didn't have to call any authorities. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine.
Glad to see it's fine. I don't have a great background with fire. In fact, my history with it is pretty terrible. So I'm glad to see that you also had that issue. No, I'm great at starting fires. I'm just saying, in the fires I've started, financially, I've probably lost more in any fire you've started. So don't feel too bad about it. Don't feel too bad about starting a fire, I guess. I don't know what I was trying to do there. I burned down a pickup one time, so I think you're fine with your fire. I think it's good.
You know, the easiest way to get out of trouble if you started a fire, Calder.
Yeah.
You just have to tell them, we didn't start the fire. It was always burning
since the world was turning.
Yes.
Well,
music.
alrighty then. What made me happy this week was I got to watch some really bad movies. Movies almost as bad as my Jim Carrey impression. I watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It was actually pretty clever. For the most part, like it's a bad movie, but it wasn't terrible.
It's bad in a good way.
Yeah, it's bad in a good way. Like it was pretty legit. Like it's not as bad as like some of the bad movies I've seen. I was like, this is, it's not really gory. It's not like like it is a horror movie, but it's not.
There's some,
really.
yeah.
Like it's
there's
not
some like
scarier.
Disturbing stuff.
Like there's
but
nothing
like not
near as bad as like Evil Dead or anything like that I'm used to. So I'm like, this is like a cakewalk. Like I felt like I could show this to my grandma. Like this is like just like this kind of movie is like, the clowns were creepy.
Oh, Kalder,
sure.
Why are you showing me these clowns? Is that what she sounds like?
No,
you're like, dang it, Meemaw. They've got pies.
Voice. They got pies. That was pretty funny. The pie bit was good. So they just used. Someone was like, look, they're killer clowns. I don't have to explain. They're from outer space, all right? But all their stuff is like, they're like DC supervillains. It has to be clown-related weaponry, and it's so funny. It's really funny, and it's really clever, more than anything, to be honest with you. When they finally figure out how to like
really
kill them.
Poking the nose, yeah.
Yeah, the nose. Like, that's pretty good. Sorry to spoil Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this movie from like 1980, whatever.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I actually highly recommend it.
I do too. But the scene that like always stuck with me and like to this day kind of like creeps me out from that movie is there's a scene where a guy's driving his pickup at night down like this highway, and he looks out the window and there's this clown on a tricycle that's like keeping pace with him, and they like freaks out, speeds up, and the clown like keeps pace with him. And I've always like whenever I'm driving like on a road trip and it's like like 1 a.m. and I'm just trying to make it to the next town, I will avoid as best I can looking out any of my side windows, like just for fear, like because how disturbing that is. Something keeping pace with a car on a highway, like there's nothing alive that should be able to do that, whether it's on like a bicycle or not. And so like it's just like I don't know why. That's just always been like a weirdly, for some reason, something in my psyche finds that disturbing to a point where I still avoid it to this day.
Huh.
I don't know what'll be out there.
Maybe it's because I've only seen it this week, but maybe it hasn't stuck with me that much. And then I watched. Yeah, I should take a drive. Then I watched Velocipaster, which is on Amazon Prime. This is also a movie I cannot recommend enough. It is gold. Velocipaster is beautiful. Simeon, have you seen it?
I have not seen that one.
Okay, we talked about Killer Clowns a lot, so I'll skip past this. But this is a bad movie from 2018. It's like it's like if I was in charge of making a movie. It literally quite looks like I shot and filmed it with no movie experience, slight acting, whatever experience, right? Like it looks like I was in charge of the wardrobe too. Honestly, like half the clothes I gave people, it's just like this is what city people wear, right? It's like it's exactly what it looks like. It's so bad. And honestly, if you told me to make a dinosaur costume, and I think I'm pretty good at making costumes, but I've never made a full body dinosaur costume, my first try at it would probably look like this dinosaur costume. Like it is rough. It's like no way should this have been our final draft version of this, nor for the fight scenes we do should we have made him an entire dinosaur. He should have had dinosaur bits, like a dinosaur head and hands, and that should have been it. Should not have been a complete full dinosaur. It's bad. If you have Amazon Prime, it is only an hour and 10 minutes. It is so short. It is. I literally just watch it. I think there's no such thing as a bad movie to watch, because if you watch it, you can make something about it, right? You know, even like terrible movies like Arrival, garbage movie, right? But you know, you can get something from it, you know. So yeah, like Velocipaster, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I highly recommend. We've probably talked like almost 10 minutes on just this. So let's go ahead and move on into the news. Ouch. That news bumper sounded like news from hell. It was like distorted and warped on my end. It was like wow, it's rough.
I've been playing too much Doom. That's how you hear everything now.
Oh yeah,
in
I
recent
haven't been
news,
Doom. I've just
still on Mars.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know you liked Doom, Simeon.
What is it? Gotta sell your.
That was the whole.
What is it? People sell.
I was just going into the joke you made.
Radishes.
Let's not.
Is that what people are selling on there? Radishes or something?
Keep it HeroClix related from this point.
Come buy my radishes. I have plenty of radishes.
Yeah, come to my island, buy my radishes. Shut up, loser. Oh my gosh, kill demons like a man. Ugh. You have a mortgage to pay in real life. What are you doing? I can't.
Women kill demons too, Calder. I've seen it in Supernatural.
Oh, sorry. Girl power. I don't know. What do you want me to say? Obviously, they could, it's a video game. Anyone could play it. Anyways, moving on. I just want to skip all of that. The WizKids store has given us quite a few cool pictures of some upcoming products. Avengers versus the Masters of Evil. 10 Heroclix pre-painted miniatures with 2 dials to use. That is pretty cool. Now, there are also only 10 cards, which worries me slightly, but I think the cards will be foldable. And then you'll have a second dial and powers on the back. So what is new about this? Well, first off, we have Pogs, which are all purple ringed, and they're probably all just for scenarios. We have a Black Panther, a Nick Fury, a Wrecker, War Machine, Taskmaster, and MODOK, just to run through them really quickly.
Yeah, all using the images from the main set.
From old sculpts, yeah. So like the Wreckers from the Mighty Thor, everything else is like Captain America and the Avengers, etc. The dice, which are, what does it say about the dice on the back? Let me read this again really quick. Use special powers and abilities, roll some dice. What does it say? With special Avengers logo, which is the Captain America set dice, but black and red instead. That is.
I actually prefer this color.
You do?
To like the what the dial and token set was for the Captain America. I don't know why. It doesn't really make sense. It would have made more sense since it was Avengers versus Master of Evil, and they already gave us these
Avengers.
This logo.
It
would have made
evil, right?
a ton of sense to give us the Masters of Evil logo. But
which is just Zemo's head, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Black Panther just has like stealth, close combat expert. Nick Fury has energy shield deflection and power. The Wrecker is a charge with 12 attack, super strength, which is kind of cool. Taskmaster's a flurry prob. War Machine's a running shot toughness, and MODOK is a sidestep range combat expert. They all have purple rings though, so they are not legal for tournament play, but for some fun scenarios, they are there. Now, looking at the cards, both versions of these figures are going to be legal to play, but there is just one simple toned down version, right, for new players. So none of the simpler versions have any more than 4 powers at a time, all right? But some to keep in mind here that might be good for later use down the line, if they're really cheap figures, that is. If not, if they're expensive, then they're probably just going to be terrible, these simple versions. But like Ultron has sidestep, invulnerability, and probability control, which is pretty cool if he's cheap, right? This is all with the connotation that they only have 3 or 4 powers, but if they're cheap, it might be useful. Ultron also has Masters of Evil, Armor, Robot, Ruler, and Scientist keyword, which is pretty cool. Red Skull has Outwit, Perplex, and Poison, with Hydra, Masters of Evil, and Soldier. And I think those are like my 2 big ones. Baron Zemo has
0 defense, 0 speed powers on Red Skull is worrying, to say the least.
Terrible.
But this will be the greatest way to bring a new player into the... if I was to buy this set and someone was like, teach me how to play, I could just use these figures, and this would be the best way to teach somebody that we've had in a long time.
Yeah. They have new action tokens. So instead of a dice and token pack, it comes with action tokens, which this has been my gripe for the longest time, is that starter packs didn't come with action tokens. And I didn't use action tokens for the first 6 months of me trying to figure out the game, because I'm like, well, if they were important, they would have gave them to me instead of telling me to use fish beads and pennies, you know? So I actually do applaud them for giving action tokens. They aren't the poker chips we're used to. These look like they'll probably slot into the back of the dial, I imagine. Like thin enough cardboard type material, because they're made out of the same thing object tokens are. I also like the object tokens. See, now that everyone can pick up an object, I feel like, I can't probably pick up and swing around a car door, right? Like, that's a light object, but a car door's heavy, I imagine, right? I probably can't easily pick that up. I don't know. I know a sewer lid is really heavy, despite what movies make it look like. Anyone can pop those off and on, but like I couldn't pick up a sewer lid and use it effectively and run at you with it. No way. So these light objects are pretty cool. So it's like a toaster, a frying pan, like a 20-pound dumbbell, a wrench, a computer, a
record player.
A record player. Okay, I was like trying to figure that out.
It's some sort of record.
Yeah.
Playing device. It looks like an updated, maybe like a DJ one. I don't really know.
On the uptake there, guys. Person. It looked like an iron to me.
Almost. I do like that the computer monitor, that they're using in this new light object is no longer the computer monitor of old. They have finally updated to a flat screen. So it only took them, I don't know how many years, because I think in the last object pack that I got, they still had like a TV that was like the super old style.
The thick
like
TV
the CRT,
from like the 90s?
Yeah, that you haven't seen in stores in probably about as long as this game's been going on.
Yeah. Been a hot minute since there wasn't just like flat screen, all black TV, in like a Best Buy or whatever. And like we said before, it's a great way to get like the Mach X sculpt. The Ultron sculpt is pretty cool. Stuff like that. Captain Marvel. There's several super rare sculpts in this that you can use now. They're all switch clicks, which I think it'd be cool to do an Avengers set. Like if this got deep cuts, that'd be really cool. I would dig it. I think everything that has switch clicks might as well get deep cuts, but these are probably just going to be used for switching between the learner-friendly, new person-friendly dials to the good dials or regular player-friendly dials, experienced player-friendly dials.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we have to say about the Avengers vs. the Masters of Evil starter set. Moving on.
They do have 2 new maps as well. At least 2 new.
Excuse me, not moving on. Yes, there are 2 new maps.
Ultron Slayer Indoor and Castle Hideout Outdoor, which I know I've been missing my castle because that one rotated out last year, so it'll be nice to get a new castle since Arthur's castle's gone. I think those light objects are reversible and have heavy objects on the other side, but don't quote me on that. They do show heavy objects. Well, they do show heavy objects. Okay. They just don't show where they came from.
I gotcha.
And then that's pretty much it. It also comes with like those campaign cards, so you can do the campaign.
The campaign cards. So if you know, or if you picked up the Justice League, excuse me, if you've picked up the Fantastic Four Cosmic Clash, you know it has campaign cards. And if you go to the Happy Little Heroclix YouTube channel, he has been going through the campaign cards, I'm pretty sure in order now, for the Fantastic Four, if you want to see how those campaign cards are played.
Yeah.
I always like the campaign stuff. They're pretty cool.
They look super fun. So it reminds me a lot of, there's a Star Wars mini game where you play, you have a scenario and then you have a squad that you can build to based on each scenario, and depending on what you do, certain events happen. So your squad might not be able to come at the campaign the same way, but this is kind of a similar thing. It's just fun little, it'll be the Masters of Evil trying to break into Avengers headquarters, and then T'Challa and I don't remember what the other bystanders were. They'll pop out and attack you or something. So it's just fun little things like that.
Absolutely. And now on to the Fantastic Four news. It's coming up. It's coming in July. Simeon, are you excited?
Oh, I am so excited. I think I'm at least twice as excited as Kalder.
Oh, you definitely are. Twice, if not 3 times as excited.
If you multiply anything by 0, it's still 0.
Still 0. Fun fact. Twice the pride, double the fall. Or no, how does that go again? This is Revenge of the Sith. Anakin Skywalker versus Dooku. Sorry, guys, this is not Heroclix related. We will move on. My powers have doubled since the last time I met Count. 0 times 2 is still 0, Anakin. He doesn't say that, but it's pretty it's a pretty sick burn. Let's talk about the box art before we go into any dials we saw. On the 3 pictures of the box in the front, we're just talking about the front right now. On the sides, we have Sue and Johnny, just just Sue and Johnny for some reason. And then
those are sub themes.
Reed and Ben, the entire sub theme. So they did what they did in Captain America, which is they just have a picture of one character on the side, which I think is really lame. I prefer 3 or 4 characters to each side, 3 or 4, 3 or 2, whatever, and then it says a sub theme. Like, you don't have to have pictures of each member of the Fantastic Four. I know the
set's called Fantastic Four.
It's called Fantastic Four.
We would hope that the main 4 would be at some point represented. And we don't really like that as like the buying factor on the side.
So as an advertisement, I think you fail there. Sorry, but you do. But maybe as like we're giving the 4 their due, they each get a moment to shine. Like, okay, you get like a 6 for there if that's what you're going for. But as advertisement, it sucks, man. Like, come on.
And I remember,
sorry, keep going.
Malcolm like asked us questions a while back where he was talking about box art and like what our favorites are, and I made a comment saying how I like art that spans like a couple boxes in, like whether it's like 2 boxes and it's like a panel that like crosses those 2 boxes. That would have been perfect for the set. You could have had, like a big splash page for like the brick, or like maybe just 2 boxes or whatever, but you could have done like something, and instead it's just the 4 on the front. It's just like the super plainest image of the Fantastic Four you've ever seen. I guess Johnny's like, he's flaming up, but like he always does that.
Yeah, and I think I also said during that same thing where if it's any piece of Alex Ross art, I'm probably going to love it. And I hate to take my word back now because, like, man, this sucks. This isn't a dig against Alex Ross. It's like a dig against, like, the actual Fantastic Four take up way less than, like, a quarter of the front of this box, right? More space is taken up by red fire and just blue stripy background thing, and then words for collect the 70 figures, name of the set, Marvel, whatever. So in terms of like seeing what we're getting, maybe this is why you put the big pictures of them on the side, because you can barely see the Fantastic Four in the main picture. I wish the box art was cooler. But enough about the box art. I suppose we can stop complaining about box art for a second. But we have
the
game
back
tray.
Of the box though.
Oh yeah, sorry. I totally. This is like the most important thing. Oh my goodness.
This is the only good thing about the box art.
This is the only good thing about the entire box art. Simeon, what is going on in the back of the box?
So in the back of the box, after all these years, after a full set dedicated to his entire storyline, where he was the entire like God Emperor of this storyline, we finally have the God Emperor Doom standing there with both fists out, and you've got 2 electric like crazy effects on his fists, and then you've got some stuff going on his feet. His cape is billowing in the best manner possible. He's in his all white suit. This is definitely the God Emperor Doom. I've read a lot of Fantastic Four. I don't think there's mistaking this costume. I really would be super surprised if it was not the God Emperor Doom. He's also sitting in the tree in the background image, which I've been told, WizKids might just make a boo-boo there, but I think it's pretty obvious that that's what it'll be. So we've seen what the 300-point Doom that came with the Fast Forces,
right?
Like or the starter set.
300-point Doom, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen what he can do. So if this guy doesn't have a like 400 or 500-point dial, like for top, I will be very disappointed. If he doesn't have something that can destroy a Thanos from Secret Wars Battleworld in like one shot, I will be very disappointed. Like he destroyed Cyclops with the full Phoenix Force. He destroyed Thanos with some power. I don't know what he had. Maybe he had a gauntlet, maybe he didn't. But this guy's he's crazy powerful. I'm really glad that we're getting him in Clix, and I really hope that his dial is more impressive than Superman Prime's, which is kind of a bummer.
Sure. Right on. I'm happy that you're happy. Because in all the Secret Wars stuff I read, I never read the main thing, so I only read side stories, so he wasn't a part of any of it. I'm sorry. So I'm happy that you're happy, and I'm looking forward to a cool Like, this is like that one episode where Raven has the different personalities, and instead of green, he's wearing white, you know? You know that one episode of Teen Titans? Anyways, whatever. Like, that's what this reminds me of.
Sure.
Sure. Come on, there's like a pink Raven that's nice, there's a white Raven that's like
shy.
Is that
Teen Titans Go?
No, it's just normal Teen Titans. She's like having like a personality meltdown or something. Anyways, moving on. He does look cool, and I do hope he's crazy awesome. Oh, and for the record, there are no Ultra Chases in the solicit for this set, so no, he is not an Ultra Chase. He is probably just a Chase. If that makes anyone feel better about that whole ordeal.
And rightfully so. I'm not going to take umbrage with them. He will be an expensive Chase because he is an extremely popular character, and he'll be extremely fun for casual. At least I'm assuming. We have yet to see any dial information on him or anything, but I assume
obviously
that they can make a good, crazy, powerful figure. I am throwing that out there in the universe, hoping that like Karma doesn't come back and slap me in the face and he's awful. But
now
regardless, this will be the one figure from the set that I really need. But let's get into the figures that we actually have information on, I guess. So I'm going to start us off.
Yes.
We got this from the Game Trade magazine. This was shared by Now Playing Lewisburg. It's a store there in the town of Lewisburg, I assume.
Wow.
They shared some Game Trade magazine pictures of the Fantastic Four solicit. They've got some old dates in that magazine, so we can't really trust that they say this will come out in July. Let's hope, but we can't really say for sure. So number 002 in the set is Invisible Woman. I'm guessing the first 4 figures might be the Fantastic Four. That'd be cool, because then you only need commons if you really want to just get like the first family. So Sue Storm has the Fantastic Four, Lady Liberators, and Celebrity. Real name Susan Storm. She has 2 traits. First trait is In the Beginning. Invisible Woman increases her attack total +1 for each 4 in her finalized attack roll. So that's pretty cool. If you roll an 8, that's a +2. Then she's got another trait. Form the new Fantastic Four. At the beginning of the game, you may replace up to 4 friendly characters with the same number of characters from your sideline on their starting clicks. All replacement and replaced characters must have the Fantastic Four keyword and different names. The total points of the replacement characters can't exceed the total points of the replaced characters. So basically, it's like a shifting not a shifting focus. It's like an alternate Earth kind of thing that we've seen before. Except
like the Avengers roundtable, right? Where you can choose to swap out one character with an ID character type deal.
Like that, or like the what if or Elseworld set, where it was like, that's not Superman, or I guess that was Superman Wonder Woman, where it was that's not Superman.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, that's
throw like Bizarro in instead of Superman.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, they can't be more points. You can't like sneak points in. They have to have the same name as the character that you're replacing them with. So like maybe you have plain Reed Richards on your starting force, and they're playing All Power Cosmic, and you're like, this Outwit's not going to do me any good. I'm going to throw in the Earth X Reed Richards because he's got something different. That's what this is for. It helps you like shift up your team a little bit. Those will count towards your sideline figures. So if you put 4 people on your sideline to replace, you're cutting your sideline figures down by 4.
It's down to 5.
Well, in a 300-point game. In a 400-point game, you have like, what, 12? Like just... I don't
it goes up by 3 every 100 points, and I think it caps at 15. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, I don't play with sideline figures at that kind of level, but...
No, not really.
So she's got those 2 traits. She's got a special defense power, Together We Stand. It's defend, stop, but only if there is another friendly character with the Fantastic Four keyword within 4 squares. So it's a limited version of stop. If other Fantastic Four characters have been KO'd, or if you're not playing her on a Fantastic Four theme team, if they're not within 4, then like she just dies. She just goes to a KO click instead of stopping. But her dial, she's 40 points. She's got 4 range, 1 lightning bolt. She's got the Fantastic Four team ability, which, just to go over again, is when this character is KO'd after resolutions, each other friendly character using this team ability, heals 1 click. So she's actually like a really good way to heal up like a bigger, like if you've got Ben Grimm and he's like your big bruiser, this 40 points is a good way to heal him up if you need that. She starts off with 2 clicks of stealth with flight. She has telekinesis on click 1 with defend and an 18 defense. She has 2 clicks of empower on her first. Oh yes, the range one, enhancement.
Before someone corrects you.
Yes. 2 clicks of enhancement on her top dial, and then she goes to barrier for 2 clicks, sidestep on click 3, sidestep on click 4, gets TK back. She loses it on clicks 2 and 3, and then she gets that stop click on click 4. So she's not doing a whole lot other than moving your team and giving them an 18 defense, which is not anything to scoff at. An 18 defense is solid. If she hits her stop click, then she's got a 19 defense, and she's also handing that out. If you position really well and you like kind of box her in so they can't get a line of fire on her, she'll be able to pass that out. And just from experience, having a 19 defense all around when some people have like energy shield or combat reflexes is just a crazy cool thing. She doesn't have Indom. Wouldn't really expect her to for 40 points. This is kind of like a early version of Sue Storm. This is before she was like chopping Celestials in half and exploding their hands with
Fantastic
energy beams.
3, it says. So yeah, I imagine the first appearance. 4 we're getting is like the earliest of days Fantastic Four, which is fun.
Right. Yeah, so she's pretty solid. Not really a whole lot going on other than like the swap out thing, and it doesn't say anything about swapping her out with her own trait, so I don't know if you can do that or not, but that'd be pretty cool if you could.
It does have to maybe, yeah.
We'll have to send that in
really
the
like
WizKid rules.
I think that's cool. Alright, my pick is going to be the Super Scroll. He has Frightful 4 Scrolls, Cosmic, Soldier, and Warrior keywords, so he's got Soldier keyword, so I gotta have to pick him up. He is Flight, Indomitable, 0 range, and his dial is pretty interesting. Really quick, they updated the Scrolls team ability, so I'm going to read that for everybody. Shape change, comma, but only succeeds on a 6, period. So that was what they did for Captain Marvel, but now it continues. The character can already use shape change. Instead, increase the result of his roll by shape change for +1. So Super Scroll has 3. Yeah. He has 3 starting lines, and he has shape change on top dial for each of those. So instead of 5 and a 6, it's going to be a 4 through 6. So it's a 50-50 shape change chance, which is pretty solid. I like it. He has toughness, his whole dial. He dips to a 2 attack kind of at the tail end of his dial, goes back up to a 3, has about a 9-ish movement, and then 8s and 7s. And then
a 2 attack sounds really low.
Oh, sorry, 2 damage. Goodness.
Yeah, we all knew what you meant.
Yeah. That 2 attack, that's rough. That's some Black Lantern anti-monitor attack values right there. If you know, you know. Then he goes for his starting lines. They're all 2 clicks besides his last one, which is 4 clicks. So 8 clicks if you play him at full. Whatever full is, we'll get to that in a minute. It goes 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 10, 11. So he never dips to a 9 or anything. So very solid attack the whole time. Lots of 11s. It's 50-50, right? You have half your dials 11s, half your dials 10s. Pretty solid. And on his last 2 clicks, he gets Mind Control. But that's it for printed powers. It's just the whole dial of toughness.
What's his Mind Control called, Calder?
His Mind Control is Mesmerizing Gaze.
Oh, Clerk,
what?
Your eyes, they are so mesmerizing.
I want to look at Clerk's eyes now. I want to see how mesmerizing those pupils are.
Let me look into the Annihilator's eyes. Speaking of which, in this article...
I want to brush his scroll hair past his scroll ear. Be like, your eyes are beautiful tonight, babe.
They do say he's wearing his Annihilation costume. So, it's been a while since I've read Annihilation and the Annihilators and all that stuff. I don't know if this is his Annihilator's costume, but he does not have the keyword. And if it is his Annihilator's costume and he doesn't have the keyword, I am a little sad because I'd really, really love to get a new modern Annihilator's team.
Right.
Just as a side tangent for that.
So the only point value we know for sure is his last 4 clicks are 50 points. So a pretty solid 50 points. And we're going to get into his trait here in a minute. But then Galactus's laser cosmic blast is covering up his blue and red point line. So it could go up by 50 for each one, or it could go up by maybe 25 to 30. I would say would be pretty solid if this was a 50 point line, 75 or 80 point line, and then a 120 or straight up 100 point line. I think going up by 30 would be pretty solid if this is like 120 at max, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, after seeing Ultron's 150 dial, I really doubt that he's 150 top dial.
There's no way this is 150 points top dial, but you're like, okay, he's very vanilla. He's Super Skrull. He's got pick a power. Just give me a second. So at the beginning of your turn, and I know it's always tough to try to choose at the beginning because you have to kind of think about what all you're going to do, but choose 2. Super Skrull has the listed effects until your next turn. So 2 is of the Fantastic Four. Invisible Woman, the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, and Human Torch. So what does he get if he chooses each one? So Invisible Woman, he gets Sidestep, Stealth, Barrier as free, but only to generate 1 marker. Pretty solid. On the approach, you have Sidestep to move up. Like I said, you don't really have a movement power. You have Stealth, and then you have Barrier. Only for 1 marker. It's not Barrier period, sadly. It's Barrier as free, but only for 1 marker, but that's not terrible. The Thing will give him Charge, Impervious, and Close Combat Expert. So you look at these, you can pair them up, obviously. It's choose 2. So now he has a really good reducer.
Well, in top dial, he's got, with Sidestep, if you choose Sidestep Charge, Sue Storm, and the Thing, then you've got a reach of 7 instead of like his normal 5 with Charge.
But the reach just gets better now, doesn't it? If you choose Mr. Fantastic, you'll get Plasticity and Super Senses, and Giant Reach 4. So choosing Mr. Fantastic and the Thing, you'd have a 5 reach with a 4 square Giant Reach. So 5 charge, 4 square Giant Reach. So you have a 9 reach. You also have Super Senses, Impervious, and then Scroll Shape Change. So you have 3 rollouts, which is pretty gnarly. I really dig those 2 together for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't have any outwit protection, but do you really need it when you have so many ways to reduce damage or just not get hit at all? I think if you play him safely with that combo, he's just unless your opponent's packing 5 outwits, he's gonna be able to survive some attacks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the Human Torch, last but not least, well, maybe he is least, Running Shot, Energy Explosion with a range of 6. So it's the only thing that actually gives him a range value. And Running Shot, Energy Explosion is, it's all right. Sadly, if it was like Running Shot, Pen Blast, it'd be obviously a lot better. Running Shot,
or Pulse Wave,
clearly, or the best choice. But I would understand that the Super Skrull can just maybe figure out Johnny's Energy Explosion, maybe not Pulse Wave. So sure, I get it. But I like this version of the Super Skrull. I like it a lot. Depending on what the point values are, is really going to be the make or break this figure. At 50 points, I think he is still solid for that point cost, but I do want to know what his top dial is. You have stealth to get you. So you have so many different ways to counter things. It's a specific counter. It's not as free and open as the last Super Skrull was, which was the zombie, which I've played a lot, and I really like that one. And he's good for different reasons, zombie tokens, food tokens, whatever, chooses any 4 powers, but he could damage himself, which you would just kind of eat the damage anyways. And he also didn't have Indomitable. So, this one is better in a few ways. Always having a reducer no matter what. Having Indomitable is great, etc. So, but I think the ability to have 3 rollouts, when you have your shape change,
and one's a 50-50,
and one's a 50-50 is really solid. I think it's going to be really hard to hit this guy. I mean, you have to Pulse Wave him if you want, 100% to get rid of all of this crazy power picking, whatever. It's Pulse Wave, obviously, but isn't that everything, So, the only bad thing is that he's not protected Pulse Wave, not protected Outwit, but I still think for the points, if he ends up only being 120 at top, or somewhere around there, maybe 130 or something, I would absolutely play the heck out of this figure. I really like him. I really like him a lot. And I think it is a great version to bring Super Skrull back into the game as a classic Super Skrull. He feels powerful. He honestly feels like he could give just the Fantastic Four a run for their money, especially these, the starter, the beginner kind of ones. So I think he's awesome.
For sure, yeah. I like everything about him. He's not as good as that, or like the zombie Super Skrull, like you said, but I think he does what he does well, and we'll have to see what his other point value is. But at 50, I think in sealed, he's like an automatic play. Most super rares are, so that's not saying a whole lot, but specifically him, I think that like if you pull that, then you're probably playing at whatever the top dial is, just because of how much survivability he has. Speaking of last and definitely least of the previews here, is She-Thing, number 028. So it's not because I don't like She-Thing. It's not like my favorite person in the comics. Like, I've never read like the standalone She-Thing comic if they ever made one. Just because it's like probably the most boring out of these three previews. And this is Sharon Ventura. She's got the Fantastic Four, Frightful Four, and Monster keywords. She's number 028 in the set. This is an uncommon. So she's got a single trait, which I'm guessing that we'll see a couple times in this set. It is the Frightful Four, If You Don't Want Me. Unique modifier. Friendly characters with the Frightful 4 keyword modify damage +1 when attacking only characters that share a keyword with them. So that means if you're playing her in sealed, and you're playing against a Frightful 4 team, a Fantastic 4 team, a Monster team, since she is friendly to herself, you are getting a +1 damage for her whole dial. So that's like the one really cool thing. Not sure how much Frightful 4 you're going to see, because that seems like a sub-theme they could have put on the side of the box with maybe like 1 or 2 figures, or 3 or 4, or I don't know how many you can fit on the side of the box. Apparently 2. Anyhow.
Be nice to them.
She has a single special power, and that is coming after those that hurt me. Leap Climb. When She-Thing uses it after resolutions, she may make a close attack. She has that for her first 3 clicks with an 8 speed on each of those. She has Super Strength for 4 clicks with 11 attack for her first 2, 17 defense with Impervious for her first 2, and then 4 damage with Battle Fury for her first 2 clicks. And her Battle Fury is, it's time I look out for myself. I'm super angry. She comes in at 75 points. She's got Indomitable, Super Strength for 4 clicks, 2 clicks of Quake. She's 6 clicks long, so that's all she's got. She's got that Leap Climb power for her first 3, and then she goes to Sidestep with 7 speed for her last 3. 2 clicks of that Battle Fury with 4 damage, and then she goes to Close Combat Expert with 3 damage for her last 4 clicks. And then she's 17 defense for her first 4 clicks, goes Impervious, Impervious, Invincible, Invincible, and then she goes down to a 16 with Invulnerability. And no team abilities. That's all she wrote. This is just like a good secondary attacker in sealed. I'm not going to say it's like the best thing that you'll get, but there might be a lot of shape change in this set. So having Battle Fury is not bad. Having the ability to do 6 damage top dials, not too bad either. 5 damage at least the rest of the dial, depending on like what click you're on. It doesn't really matter. You can at least do 5. It's just a solid figure for 75 points. It's not anything crazy special. The sculpt doesn't look anything crazy cool, but
no.
Yeah, it's just She-Thing standing there ready to punch somebody.
I don't get the M. If it's an M or what it's supposed to be, it doesn't make sense. The McDonald's looking M.
It's like she put on a Grimace suit.
Yeah,
he's purple. Yeah, it makes and no so sense. It's a purple suit. I don't
get it. I get it. But I don't. I don't get it. Get away from me. This isn't what it looks like, Ben.
Significant appearance. This figure could Fantastic Four 6'4", so this is like quite a ways into the Fantastic Four.
I feel like she probably had a significant appearance before this, or maybe she is like the newest version of She-Thing. I know there was one in the comics before that had like a robot thing suit.
Yeah, this definitely did.
Like a human that turned into thing style, right?
I want to say 2015 is around the time where they had like an offshoot of the Fantastic Four, that like none of the characters in the Fantastic Four were like a founding member. They had, I don't remember who it was. I know it was She-Thing. It was some lady with like a bubble on her head and a robot suit or something. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've even looked at those comics, but...
Well, thanks.
That was Game Trade Magazine, June 2020.
Game Trade Magazine. Now, what else is there in this beautiful, beautiful Game Trade Magazine? Well, we get to see some sculpts. We get to see a painted version of Galactus, but we kind of saw his digital sculpt before, so that's nothing new. We get to see a Silver Surfer looking all purpley and black. We get to see another version of Sue Storm, but this is like this is Reed Richards and Sue Storm, but it's their starter set Cosmic Clash sculpts. Their paint job is different. Reed's is Future Foundation or something else. Let's read it. It says other characters like Reed Richards Alpha, Invisible Woman as Captain Universe, which it's not what a sculpt looks like, but whatever, you never know. Silver Surfer from Silver Surfer Black, and then of course they say Galactus himself will be playable in Modern Age. It also says each month stores can choose to run an event in a bunch of different formats, like Battle Royale, Constructed, Sealed, or Skirmish. If you haven't heard about Skirmish, please check out heroclix.com/skirmish for details. Do yourself a favor and don't do that, because it's trash.
Yeah, go ahead and avoid that.
Though. I would avoid Skirmish for tournament play.
I would actually try it out. I would try it out because
I'd like to hour and a half to explain to people what Skirmish is.
If you want to know like a quick rundown of Skirmish, imagine a battle royale mode, but instead of being able to take your like normal like 3 actions, you get 1 action, 1 free action, and then your opponent gets to get 1 action, free action. Your next opponent gets 1 action, 1 free action. Your next opponent gets 1 action, 1 free action. Then it goes back to you. It is still the same turn, so you cannot give the same 1 action and 1 free action to the ones that have already happened. Any perplexes and outwits that have been used are still in effect. So, like, let's say I give, Dr. Doom a move action, and then I have him outwit something. I cannot use him when it gets back to me until I think it's like 3 rounds. So you have to do like move action or whatever. You start within range of people, so you really don't even have to move. It's just like you just start off punching. But it's basically like a battle royale where your actions are limited to 1, and it's supposed to be faster, but it's just like somehow not quite. And that's the best I can really explain it in so many words.
Yep. Beautiful. So I'm glad we took that time to talk about Skirmish, except no, I'm not.
Also, it takes longer to place your figures, in my experience, than it does to play the game. It takes so long.
But enough about a format that certainly exists in the game of Heroclix. Instead, let's move on to a game that not really a game, it's a segment that quite a few people enjoy. A good old Dusty Trail ride to Red Dead Redemption.
Friend, I just wanted to play.
Now, firstly, we ain't friends. Don't make no mistake on that subject. Now, secondly, he can't hardly see, let alone reason. Reasoning ain't never been one of my strong points neither, but seeing I do just fine.
Totally forgot I had my thread pulled up and not the actual thread that we were actually talking about. We got it though now. Simeon, what do you like about Justice League Unlimited? The things you like about it.
Ooh, the things I like about it. I like that we're getting a dark side. I like that there's some Justice Lords. Even though the Justice Lord Martian Manhunter is a super rare and he's somehow worse than the rare Martian Manhunter, I like that he at least has the keyword, I guess. Let's see. I like that there's some Supermens that aren't bad. I like that there's plenty of really cheap Justice League and Injustice League characters to pick from, so I can make huge teams for cheap points.
Well, what if I told you, let's disregard all of that and talk about why the team-up cards are great for the game. Now, out of all those things you're excited for,
how dare you?
Team-up cards rank in the
how
excitement
dare you?
level?
Well, let's see. I literally only have the team-up cards that I pulled, and it's not like I chose to get them. They just happened to be in my booster. So my excitement level is at a solid, let's see. If they told me that Sharknadoes were real and that if I went outside I had a chance of being decapitated, I'd rather do that than have another set with team-up cards. That's where my excitement level's at.
Well, that's perfect, actually. It's quite the response I really wanted to hear, because mine's not quite that severe. They're just going to have to be a game element I'm going to have to ignore and throw all my team-up cards in the trash. Except for Lex Luthor, because I will, once again, feel obliged to collect all of those, sadly. So, we have an article by Heroclix here. I imagine that's how it's pronounced. Not Tyro. Tier is a whatever. It's got to be Heroclix. Anyways, join date, January 2003. So he's been here for a while. No.
Probably
no
the longest while. Almost the longest while.
Absolutely.
It's got to be close.
Greetings all. I've been a critic of WizKids when they screw up. Mirror maps, visible dials, etc. Nah. Oh, that's VD. Visible dials. We figured it out finally. I figured that's got to be VD, right? Visible dials? That's it.
Yeah.
No one has ever used that terminology before, but okay.
I've never needed to shorten it.
Wow.
Use shorthand for looking at the back of the card.
Who in the world?
I'm going to start calling it...
Sorry, guys.
LATBC. LATBC. Looking at the back of the card.
Looking at the back of the card.
I'll scrap one of the T's. I don't care. Whatever. Yeah.
All right.
Why not? We need acronyms in this game.
Sorry,
More acronyms.
he used that in a different thread, and we had no idea what he meant by VD, because that shorthand, no one's ever used that before. I've never seen it until now.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. And then he's like, oh, whatever. I also celebrate when WizKid says something right. In this case, the right thing is team-up cards. Well, you're wrong, but okay. Really quick, before we go too hard into this article, he does say, thanks for reading. I also look forward to reading any thoughtful is underlined, so I'm just going to ignore that specifically. Thoughtful additions or criticism.
This will hardly
be thoughtful, but we are going to be slightly rude to you, because I do enjoy that bit about it. So... Before I begin with my reasons, I will acknowledge that there will be players who are against them. That would be us. I understand the 21st century collecting mentality. Get it all as fast as you can. I sympathize with you. He sympathizes with you, Simeon. He sympathizes.
Thank you.
20th century collectors, like myself, and if you don't know, 20th century is before the year 2000, apparently.
Yeah, so that's Gen Zers that are collectors, because literally any other generation's also a 20th century person.
So I just
all you
get it out of the way
out there,
because you called yourself a 20th century collector, I will have to oblige you with the okay boomer, even if you aren't one. it's fitting in this context. Like myself, relished the hunt and celebrated the small victories. Well, the internet screwed all that up, and I get how 120 cards of varying pseudo rarity would be frustrating to you if your goal is to quote unquote finish JLU by June. That being said, here's why team up cards currently rock. So, just really quickly, I love hunting for figures. I never pre-order any Marvel Legends stuff most of the time, unless it's Captain America. And I love going out into, Walmarts, Targets, wherever, and I love chasing them. Because as a kid, that's what I would do to collect the figures as well. The MCU, the Marvel Universe stuff, which was the smaller 3/4-inch figures, I loved going to Walmarts and buying as many of those for like $10 as possible and trying to find the ones that had different head variants. I like the hunt, okay? I like
also
the hunt. I'm definitely a 21st century collector.
The fact that he put finish JLU by June, he put finish JLU in quotations by June, as if it was like, oh, you just want to finish it by June, and you're being impatient, you're not willing to wait the smart collectors of yesteryear. At least that's kind of the feeling I get. Maybe that's not how he meant it, but that's how I feel it is. This set officially came out on the 27th for most people.
Yeah.
Not for everyone. That gave you 4 days to finish it by June. even like the people I know that bought a lot of this set,
exactly,
like an incredibly large amount of the set, did not finish it by June. People that were trying to trade for everything, like no one finished this set by June.
And
no one was
going
to possibly finish it by June.
29th. Like, come on.
Yeah, like when he was typing this, there was 2 days to get every figure and 120 cards when there's 4 cards per brick. No one was finishing this set by June. By the end of June, yes, several people have already finished this set. Yeah. So, like, there's definitely... I mean, I understand what he's saying. It's just... I
the
feel
Chad
like
Birdsalls of the world
he's building up
finishing the set 3 times over before June, I guess.
Yes.
So he has 5 points here. And as you guys are already well aware, I forgot to start with this, but this isn't just a creative corner. You know, we've been doing mostly creative corner threads because those are kind of the easiest to critique and then find flaws in. But it's threaded redemption. So any thread goes, just so you know. So no thread is safe, basically. Number 1, I don't actually hate this. Value in boosters. Pre-JLU in Modern Age, you pick a booster off the wall, you had a 60% chance of getting garbage. In JLU, you only have a chance, 20% chance of getting garbage. That is a huge swing. Okay. Besides sealed, my favorite local tournaments are the ones that have a $5 entry. I prefer those to free events. Why? Well, the venue adds 1 booster to the prize pool for every 2 players who enter. We average around 8 to 14 players. Kind of jealous. Like, that's a pretty solid play group.
Yeah.
8 to 14 is pretty good, honestly.
Being able to split up 8 people would be pretty great on
those days. Yeah, on those days for a $5 entry, not bad at all. And then, better yet, the boosters are all open before prizing. You might have, 25 to 40 prizes. This is a great way of prizing because we've all had that common that would they'd never pull and, had to trade for. This solves it. With team-up cards, there are even more interesting prizes to get, even for someone who bought in bulk. So, go. Value in boosters. You know what? Them being teamed up in rares, with only in rare boosters, right?
It's rare down.
Super rares.
There's
down.
Uncommon and rare.
So instead of getting a garbage rare, there's only two boosters now in a 1 or 2 boosters, whatever, in a brick, where you're just going to get a garbage rare or just a rare, right? And now you're going to get a rare, and you'll at least get a team up card. So I do agree with the value in boosters bit. What about you, Simeon?
I agree with it to an extent, because looking through some of these team up cards, like just for example, I'll say one of the Martian Manhunter ones. Let me look at it here. Martian Manhunter is number 046 in the set. He is a rare. If you team him up with, I think it's the Flash. So Martian Manhunter, he has traded. Let me actually pull it up. I don't want to speak out of turn and be wrong here. So I'm going to actually do my due diligence. Martian Manhunter has traded shape change super senses. When Martian Manhunter uses super senses and it succeeds, you may change the target of the attack to some character that's adjacent to him. If you get Martian Manhunter and you get the team up card with the Flash, you get, if the listed friendly characters on the map, Martian Manhunter can use super senses. He's got it traded. So, like, I don't know what value that adds to any, like, this is not, like, several of these cards are just going to be things that people literally do not need or want, like, no, because all of the Flash ones are the same. I don't know if this one's entered wrong and he has, like, hypersonic as well or not, but all of the single characters, like if it's Batman, it's stealth and free. If you occupy hindering, move up to 2. If it's Superman, you can use super strength and improve targeting hindering. So like they're all the same if they are that single character. So yes, I agree with it being more value in each booster, but there are still like some team ups where they didn't even bother to be like, Martian Manhunter has traded super senses. He's a rare, so he's not like the most likely thing to pull. You won't get a lot of multiples of him in a single brick. But if you do, you could get this Flash team up that gives him also super senses in case they, somehow outwit it, but not. I don't know. There's no way that he just always has super senses. If they outwit it, it outwits every access to it. So there's no reason to ever play that card on him. It's just bad. If it had given him, like if WizKids had been like, he's already got it. Or we could just add, if this character already has this power, add a +1 to their roll. Like something very simple that would have made sense and would have been perfectly great and usable. But instead, like some of these team of cards are just completely worthless because of that. And there's more. There's like somewhere, like, sure, Superman gives you improved targeting through hindering, but I think the Wonder Woman team up with him, she already has super strength for a lot of her dial, and she has 0 range, so there's no reason for her to see through hindering, and there's no reason to give her super strength. So it's just like, why? What benefit does this team up card do? There's no reason to have this in my collection. This card is as worthless as any card I've ever seen. Like, it's just bad. But other than that, I agree with point 1.
Okay. Moving on. You want to read point 2 for us?
Yeah. So point 2 is low cost for WizKids. He says, let's face it, WizKids is all about cutting cost. Captain America and the Avengers was an all-new low, pulling sculpt reuse from 5 years ago. Those were super rare sculpts, so let's give them a little bit of credit. The JLU release map is the same map that you get from the starter set. That's true. I actually like that because some people don't have organized playgroups, so they can't get the LE map without spending $15 online. If they get
Sorry, keep going.
No, I'm just, if they get the starter, not only do they get like the new figures and 2 maps, they also don't have to pay to get like the LE map. So I actually kind of like that they did that. It will be. Yeah, good.
Jeez, I keep interrupting. But on the reverse side, I don't want to buy a starter with figures I don't want and kind of hate all those characters. So I can just get the maps I want now, which is the only thing I would want from that starter anyways. So yeah. So it works both ways. Works both ways.
Yeah, like if you have a good organized playgroup that, like, you know, you've got enough extra maps that you can snag one, then you just don't have to get the starter. If you like look at the characters and you're like, I don't really need them, the starter doesn't come with like a ton of crazy cool stuff or anything. The Superman is way better than the common Superman, but if you just like want those extra options, that's one thing. I don't know. He goes on to say the team up cards are cheap for them, meaning WizKids, way to add value without affecting weight, packaging, or production time. There is no reason why team-up cards can't become a permanent thing. How dare you? Become a permanent... Can you imagine, Kalder, if every set from here on out had an item in it where if you bought a brick, you were guaranteed 4 of those items, but there was 120 of them to collect, and you weren't guaranteed to not pull duplicates.
What's funny?
Don't collect full sets a lot. Sometimes I do accidentally, just because I buy a lot, and sometimes I do just like eventually because I've already got a lot of the set. So I'm like, why not finish it out with like, you know, these 2 figures I'm missing? I will never finish Justice League Unlimited, because there's 120 team-up cards.
This paragraph here that he wrote, it's like, it's cheap for them to make, and why can't they become a permanent thing? This one paragraph he made me both gag and roll my eyes at the same time. It's pretty awful. I don't care if it's cheap for WizKids to make. Like, good for company. Let's have a standing O for
you know what else is cheap for WizKids to do? Like reuse old super rare sculpts that some people didn't want to shell out like $50 or $40 for. Take that old X-Men Xavier School Wolverine sculpt and throw it in as a rare in one of the next X-Men sets that we know is coming out.
Yeah,
people like that.
Hate that. That'd be
awesome.
I'd love to have a cheap
WizKids
version of Wolverine sculpt.
Yeah. It'll cost WizKids no money to reuse a sculpt. It'll save them money on like designing a new sculpt. that will also save them money, and when I pull it, I won't be mad that I'm missing 119 other Wolverines from the set, you know? I'll just be glad that I've got this one cool one. So, point 2, I feel like, is a loss. WizKids is a company. Sure, I want them to make money. I want them to like the fact that Heroclix is their, like, bread and butter that, like, brings money to them. I want them to, like, make more Heroclix. That's my whole thing. I don't buy into WizKids' other things. I'm not a Dice Masters person. I don't play Kibble Scruffle. Scuffle. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't play all their other games. I'm not big into whatever the big dice monster thing. I like Heroclix, so I want WizKids Heroclix to succeed so that they keep making it. But I don't want them to cut costs and give me a bunch of extra cardboard so that they think that I'm getting a better deal, because I don't feel like it's a better deal.
They don't need to treat it like the black sheep of their product line when it clearly is their most like pull and money-wise and everything. And I get that they want to branch out and make other games or whatever, all that garbage. But like, if you would treat Heroclix the way... Treat Mama the way she deserves to be treated, Papa. You know, like if you would treat it like Heroclix how it should be, it should be a bigger game. First of all, way more people should be into it than are, but it's still your biggest game, WizKids.
Yeah.
No matter how many D&D loot crates you want to make. Okay, quit kidding yourself.
There's a reason why it's called like the biggest miniature game like on the market, because like it is like, you know, it's the only miniature game that comes out with new stuff multiple times a year to like add on to its collection, and in like such volume. Like no other miniature game adds like 300 or 400 plus figures every year. Only Heroclix does. Another thing they could do to cut costs would be like, I don't know, they make miniatures. I guess they've got these. What are they? They're like robots in disguise. I think they're called like Transformers, maybe miniatures. Maybe slap a dial,
like an electrical box
in the
Transformer, like one of those. Okay,
just slap a dial in that box. I don't care what it says on it. I will play it if you give me a dial. It will cost you the amount that a dial costs. I don't know. Is that like 5 cents? Whoa. I'll pay an extra 5 cents for one.
Simeon, that is a plastic thing with a sticker and then another plastic thing on top of that. You know how hard it is to put a sticker in between two plastic sandwiches?
I understand that it's not another card being added to the pack, but for just please do it. They also have D&D miniatures. Throw dials in those packs. The D&D guys can toss it in the trash. They don't need it if they don't want it.
You could make those like easily switch clicks as well. You could make them switch off the dial and then plug into the little like, what is it, the size of a quarter about? I think D&D squares are.
I mean, if it's like a smaller character, it's like a penny. The bigger ones are they're like a little bit like silver dollar size-ish. But
like that.
You can easily click a base into like the bottom of them if you had little notches.
Totally.
So it's not hard.
I wouldn't even care if you brought flight stands back just to make the little pegs easier to click in. Like D&D minis would be great for generic, just paladin, like paladin human, paladin elf, paladin whatever, and do that for like every class or something, or not whatever, like that's fun. Like that's a really cool and fun idea. D&D is a rich world full of like really cool characters and enemies and things that you can do in it, and work very easily for Heroclix.
The craziest thing is like they don't need a license to make random Fire Mage or random Red Dragon. No one owns the rights to Dragon. It is just like a ubiquitous animal that is like a fantasy creature thing,
We are getting slightly off topic, I must say.
Yes.
This side tangent. The side tangent's pretty good. No, it's Gucci, don't get me wrong. But
so for point 1, I'm going to give him an 8. That's a pretty good point. For point 2, I'm going to give him a 2. I don't care if it saves WizKids money at the end of the day. Heck, I hope it costs them money so they stop doing it.
All right, point 3, implementation. This I must give WizKids huge credit for, and admittedly await them screwing this one up big time. So he's already waiting for them to mess it up. That's not very hopeful to Heroclix, but okay. First off, they appear in boosters with the actual figures they work for. That is cool. So when you pulled like an ID card during Age of Ultron or whatever, it wouldn't always be in a figure with, or in a booster with that figure. So I will kind of agree with this statement that the team up cards appear in the figures they work for, or in the boosters with the figures they work for. Makes sense. Secondly, team-up cards are not currently found in Super Rare Prime, Chase LE, and Con exclusive figures, which makes them a valuable asset to your average player. Okay. This is the first time I can recall WizKids actively doing something that all players can benefit from. That is such a great idea that if that idea came from a person was the one who implemented visible dials, I would be satisfied with a demotion, public pantsing, or rap on their knuckles with a ruler instead of firing that I would currently call for. It really fired up, but those visible dials, the old VD really get.
Yeah, really the VDs, which I can't argue with him.
I don't blame him. It sucks. I hate
visible
it too,
dial
but,
thing. I mostly hate the visible dial thing because it just, like, at 0 point in, like, your Heroclix career doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense if you're a beginner. It definitely doesn't make sense if you're experienced and, like, you're a tournament player. If you're not willing to, like, put in the time to, like, memorize, like, the dials that will be in the meta play, and if you're, like, a newer player, then it actually benefits your opponent not knowing your dial most of the time from what I've experienced. So, like, that's, like, I agree with him on that. The implementation, there's 120 of these in this set. I don't know if I've said that yet, but there's literally, you will open in a brick 10 boosters. You will get 4 out of 120. There is no way for you to make sure that you don't pull duplicates. Sure, you can trade, but no one's going to want to trade multiples of your Martian Manhunter Flash team up, which, again, I remind you, does nothing for Martian Manhunter. No one's going to want to trade multiples of, like, your Wonder Woman Superman team up, which she gets super strength and can see through hindering. Great. She has 0 range and already has super strength. Yeah, there's just not that great of implementation. I will say X-Men Regenesis, the previous version where they introduced these team-up cards, was not a bad idea. The fact that they based it around the keyword of the teams, made more sense, and instead of, like, it being a static effect like the Flash giving super senses, it gave each character a bonus to, like, what they already had. So Emma Frost became, like, viable if she was on, like, the Cyclops team, whatever it was called, Utopia, I guess, I don't know. Those team-ups made sense because it was personalized per character. These team-ups are a lot of filler that no one will ever use, and we really did not need 120 of them. I appreciate the fact that they went, like, episodic kind of style, and they're like, in this episode, he teams up with this guy. But they didn't, like, make it a special power based on what they do in the episode. They were like, he teamed up with Green Arrow, something with range, or arrow, maybe? Like, I don't know, exploding arrows. He will give him 6 range. Yeah.
Half effort about, yeah.
And so, going forward, I hope if they continue to do this, which we already know there's one set with more of these, I hope they continue along the lines of Regenesis and not JLU. And I hope they don't look at the sales figures for JLU and think of this as a success, because we're coming off of a dry period, WizKids. People are just buying stuff because we haven't had anything to do for a long time other than buy stuff. So don't look at the sales and be like, people really responded to those crazy team-ups that we threw, like, 11 on a single character. That's not why people are buying it for the most part. There's a few people, but that's not why people are buying this set for the most part. Mm-hmm. So... And that's all I have to say.
When Simeon said, do it like Regenesis, he didn't mean give every character in the set one. He meant maybe 1 per character in the set.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I meant
we don't want every single character. We just want like maybe if you're gonna do a team up card, let one character have one team up card.
And split it. Put it on the same card.
10. Yeah, put it on the same card. Why would we need an extra card for?
If I go to HC Realms right now and I pull up this character, Martian Manhunter, he has 1 through 11. All of these little traits, so it's Superman gives super strength and improved targeting hindering, and then it like tells you all the like bonus stuff that they could have just put that above this, had a fold out card on each of these characters with all of these team up possibilities, and they all would have fit on the inside of a double-sided card. Mr. Sinister had a trifold card. Yeah. Mr. Sinister had a trifold card. I get that they want you to have like a card that's tradable, and you can be like, this is like worth something because you need it for like that thing. But as far as like a collector and a player like goes, when I see something like this figure clearly could have fit this on their like card. I've seen double-sided cards. We had them in Regenesis. You could have fit these 11 little power-ups. Each one of them is like a small paragraph, which like half of the paragraph on each of these is the same. After revealing forces, you may replace this game element kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't need that. So really, if you like shortened it down to just the powers that they get, you could have fit this on like one side of a double-sided card. And so it's just like the fact that they could have done that but decided not to. And I get it does give you a little benefit on the secondary market. It gives you a little bit of trade fodder possibly, unless you're pulling one of those really bad ones that does nothing. I don't know.
Okay. Let's read number 4 before you give yourself a hernia.
Number 4, gameplay. It is frustrating. I'm just going to end it there. I agree. It is frustrating. Boom. Thread done. Congratulations. We agree.
Hey, you said something we agree with.
All right. So he goes on. It is frustrating to bring a team up to your local venue only to be facing a degenerate build. Ooh, degenerate build. This is some fighting words. Team up cards.
That's some 20th century collector speak right there. Degenerate build.
What are you doing with your full Batman family all stealth against my range? That's a degenerate build. You degenerate. How dare you play these figures that are available to everyone,
out of my favorite
but you
local
pick
game
those
store,
specific
you degenerates.
Bring a team to your venue only to be facing a degenerate build. Was that a Q Prime, a regular Q, and Eddie Guerrero? That actually would be a degenerate build. I agree with that. Team of cards are a way to balance the teams and rein in the degenerate element of the game a bit. The degenerate element of the game. A lot of degenerates coming in here with all their money. WizKids is unable to understand the limitless combinations of every new element that can be paired with team-up cards, sidesteps, a huge part of that issue being tied to a specific character/characters. Man, if this guy's talking about sidestep as like degenerate builds, team-up cards, sidesteps, a huge... Oh, he's saying team-up cards, sidesteps, a huge part of that issue. So yeah, I agree with this part. WizKids is unable to understand the limitless combinations of every new element. Looking back at their history, they put Kobik and Trader in the same set. They put Vulture and Ock Arms in the same set. They can't even see combos in the same set that might be problematic. I think it's weird that like they don't look like a few sets back. Like, oh, is it going to be bad if we give this Steve Rogers the ability to make any 50-point standard character an Avenger? No, Avengers don't win anything. I can understand that part. He goes on. I can ID call in the most powerful broken version of a character from the Shadow Realm. But if I want to abuse an Aquaman team-up card, I have to use the JLU Uncommon Aquaman, and I have to use the required 1+ other figure listed on the card. Oh, wow. It's really reining in that power creep with that Aquaman team-up card. This is a bigger push towards influencing players' build to be more thematic than anything WizKids had tried before, and certainly more than WizKids deemed keyword-themed teams we are currently stuck with. So, sure. I understand this because the team-up cards do come with some caveats. If you want to use one of these team-up cards that will give you a slight edge, it's basically Highlander rules for the team-up card. You can't have you can't like stack Dr. Fates if you want to play a team-up card. Doesn't matter if Dr. Fate's on the team-up card, it's just if you have multiple characters with the same name, the team-up card is invalid. He goes on to say with bonus, you can build an actual thematic team and use team-up cards, or you can use the WizKid team keywords and use team-up cards. So, sure, that was kind of the whole point of the team-up cards, is that you would use the names and that they had like the same keywords. So, like, if you're building team-up cards with the villain, which is kind of lacking, you've got Injustice League or something like that. And if you're building literally any of the heroes, they've got at least Justice League. I don't think there's a single hero that has a team-up card that doesn't have Injustice League. So I guess I will let his point there stand. I don't really know what his point there was, because this isn't going to rein in any kind of power creep. There's very few of these team-up cards that are like actually meta worthy or like would be broken in casual or anything like that. I mean, Lex Luthor teams up with Red and he gets plasticity. So it's like, cool. The guy that you Lex don't Luthor want close to people can tie them up. Yeah. With his ESD and running shot and 6 range, you can tie people
ESD
up.
Plasticity. That's what I want. That's what I want on my running shot.
I guess you can break away easier. There you go. That's that's one thing.
Sure. He says gameplay when he almost certainly meant to say thematic or theme-wise, because he says gameplay to start it off, but what he really means is how thematic these can be, because that's what he spends the majority of this little section talking about. And it is a little more thematic. I'll give you that, but gameplay-wise, no, I'm not seeing your gameplay point. Thematic-wise, yeah, sure.
And just going
even though it's thematic.
Just going
for Dr. Fate to have all his fates, right? It's thematic for that to happen, because that's a thing he can do.
Point.
But it
that's
takes
the whole
away
point of playing
if
a
he's
Dr.
on the
Fate.
team-up card. So
yeah, if you play a Dr. Fate,
dude?
you don't get to play his like little clones. I feel like he's a little frustrated with people playing like slightly more, maybe like straight up meta teams at like his local venue because of his wording. This won't help that. I'm sorry, but like other than Amazo, there's very few of these team-up cards where you'll play like a 400-point game, and like again, I'm gonna go back to Martian Manhunter. His best team-up is Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl. If I'm playing those six characters and this Martian Manhunter at full, I'm having like a hard time building within like a 400-point game. And if I'm building to 500 points and somebody throws like a Unimind on their team, for example, like a degenerate throwing Unimind on a team, they are going to squash my team. They are going to see that team-up card and laugh as they blue flame it away. So yeah, I just don't see it reining anything in, as he says.
Are you saying that it's not much of a silver bullet?
I would say if Unimind is a werewolf, the legends were false, and this is not a silver bullet.
Look at that beautifully smooth execution, segue, might I add. Point 5 is silver bullet designs. What makes team-up cards great is there's no need for silver bullet designs. Ooh, okay, sure. Opposing players actually get to interact with the elements instead of hiding in the starting area, or far worse, the sideline or the map location itself. Most team-up cards can be stopped in 2 ways. KO the figure, or KO the figure granting the use of the team-up cards. No need for the annoying must get use Chase and Con figures designed to stop a screw-up WizKids created, and then, as the gimmick falls away, the purpose of said character is gone. Think of all those anti-resource, anti-ID characters that either are or will have little reason to see play. Now, if I was in charge of WizKids design, thank goodness you're not, having replaced the dolts who came up with Visible Dials, once again, Visible Dials, this guy, or firing him/her in front of everyone, you really...
Firing him or her in front of...
You can look at your opponent's card.
Man. Kenny Pena with your visible dials. I don't know if that's who decided. It probably wasn't, let's be real. You're fired in front of everyone.
He's too busy swimming with dolphins.
In front of all 26 WizKid employees, you are fired.
Oh, you think there's 26? Is that what that's a high number from last I heard.
It's an over-under by at least 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. What I put on the design, meeting room wall, here's his rules for team-up cards. Basically, he's saying there's no straight-up silver bullet for team-up cards, right?
These are the 5 commandments of team-up cards.
Yeah, the 5. I'm about to read you the 5 commandments.
Moses coming down from Mount Sinai.
One stone tablet. But like Moses, I'm going to get angry at you people that made visible dials, the golden visible dials calf, and throw it down in anger.
There was actually 10, but he smashed one of the tablets, so there's only 5 now.
Tablets. Yeah. He didn't want to go back up embarrassed to WizKids God or Heroclix here and have him remake it inscribed on lightning to the tablet or whatever. Thou shalt not... this is how I wrote him, too. Thou shalt not make a team-up card for a con-exclusive Prime, Ellie, Super Rare, or Chase figure. Getting those figures is already the reward. No seconds.
I feel like...
Sarah, can I have some more? No seconds, boy! Sorry.
I feel like if you're already getting one of those figures, it would only possibly come with one team-up card. Like, we have yet to see a team-up for any of these. None of these came with a team-up. So far, Rares and Under is the only thing that's gotten a team-up. But even then, I would rather have a con-exclusive. Like, let's say there's a Black Panther con-exclusive that comes out, and you have a 1 in 10 chance of getting one that has a team-up card, but there's only one team-up card. That's still better than trying to collect 240. So, I mean, I agree with Commandment 1. But at the same time, I don't see any reason why they would add a team-up card to any of these.
Right. Second commandment, my lord. Thou shalt not include team-up cards in prize packs or make them available as con-exclusives. Doing so devalues the non-exclusive versions and reduces the value in boosters. Sure.
I feel like this goes against point number 1, his value in boosters thing. The value in the booster is the fact that you're getting the team-up card. That team-up card is exclusive to that set, and it's in that booster. Unless they're reprinting, and that's not what he's thinking, I don't think. I think he's thinking of, like, Martian Manhunter, instead of 11 team-ups, getting a 12th team-up as a con exclusive. I'm actually super okay with that. If they were going to... Because that makes figures more playable further down the line. So, like, maybe you're not playing Common Superman because he doesn't have, he doesn't have Indom, and he's garbage for 100 points. So maybe you're not playing him. But, like, let's say, like, a year later, they release a team-up card, and if he's played with, like, a specific other character, then he gets some sort of bonus. Then that makes that character actually worth something at that point. So I actually disagree with this commandment. I'm super okay with them releasing more exclusive ones, because there's 120. They're all exclusive at this point. Unless you're willing to pay money, they're all exclusive.
Really, when you look at it, it'd be easier to get if there was a specific 5 or whatever con exclusive, right? Team-up cards, you know?
If there was like a broken one, wouldn't that
technically be easier than trying to like track all these things down?
If they make another Amazo and it's a con exclusive and it's $50, that will be less expensive than collecting 2 of the current Amazos. So he's a common. And, yeah.
Commandment number 3 here. Heroclix tenants for team-up cards commandment here. Thou shalt not have more than one power or effect on a team-up card. If it would be cool to have another effect, that will be... If it would be cool... How do you do, my fellow kids? To have another effect, that will be made on a second, separate card. Don't be confusing these Heroclix players now. It's okay, little guy. It just gives you super senses. Nothing else to worry about. It's just
honor thy father and mother. If it would be cool, also buy them an Xbox.
Cool. Like, what?
If it would be cool to have another effect. Sure. It's like Martian Manhunter team up number 12, Flash, super senses with a +1, since the first Flash team up did nothing.
That would be cool. Number 4, thou shalt not change the anti-duplicate requirement, nor shalt anyone attach a set number to a required team-up figure. I agree with half of this. I like that there is no set number. That for sure. I can dig that. That way I don't have to play this specific version of Flash, Martian Manhunter, whatever, right?
Also that there's no set version. So like the fact that they don't specify like Justice League Unlimited, a Batman from like Justice League Unlimited. So I can play any Golden Age Batman. I can play any Batman from like the history of Batmans and use a team-up card with him. That is one of the only redeeming factors of team-up cards, is that I can use other figures that fit the bill because they have the name.
Absolutely. And then the whole anti-duplicate thing. Like, as I've just said before, in the case of like Joker, Dr. Fate,
and Dr. Fate,
playing duplicates, big thing Dr. Fate there. Like, they literally cannot use their inherent one cool ability they do. You're getting rid of that sweet ability to use a team-up card.
Going back to his gameplay thing with his like frustration against degenerate builds, if you want to build a good Justice League theme team, you're gonna need to play duplicates of certain characters, because
very true.
Like, there's certain characters that are just way more worth like the points. So if I'm playing a Dr. Fate, you know, like bringing in, what are they, like 10 points for his like alternate starting lines. If I'm already playing one at full points to activate a team-up card, I'm totally going to want to add like at least 2 of those extra Dr. Fates with their enhancement and mystics and all that stuff. There's no reason not to. So, yeah, I agree with half right on that one. You get half points, which is still a failing grade.
Ooh. And number 5, I hate that I'm going to read this one. Thou shalt not use the words visible dials. Saying visible dials is the same as saying I quit. And thou shalt immediately clean out your cubicle and exit the building. Whoops, sorry, emoji. How'd that get in there? Haha, emoji. Jeez, man. No one uses visible dials except for you, dog. I have not seen it used.
Yeah. I've never once.
Now.
I've only seen people say like the dial, the back of the card. I've never seen anyone use like shorthand VD, especially.
Yeah.
But using like visible dials, the dial is not visible. It's the card that you can look at. If you're playing Golden Age and you look at the back of the card, which you're allowed to do, it will not show you the dial, and your opponent does not have to click the dial to show you anything. So, in Golden Age, like anything prior to what was it, like 2016 when they started doing that, 2017. Anything prior to that, if you're playing it,
Spider-Man,
then there's no such thing as visible dials. So sure,
it's also not a key phrase.
Sure,
that's just
fire WizKids employees for using a thing that exists. In closing, I do hope WizKids can stay the course in design and, more importantly, implementation of the team cards. I think they're an interesting and positive addition to the game. Thanks for reading. I also look forward to reading any underlined, bolded, thoughtful additions or criticisms. So I don't know how thoughtful this was.
We put thought into it.
Yeah, there was thought.
I would say, yeah.
I mean, I tried to blast it as much as I possibly could, but there's definitely thought behind my blasts.
That's because you're a degenerate 21st century Heroclix player / collector. That's why. That's why.
You degenerate playing multiple Dr. Fates with a team-up card. How dare you? I also like theme teams, but how dare you play a Heroclix theme that makes sense because of literally the gameplay without... Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to, as like a final thought on his like
all
little...
Right, is the thread in the red or is the
tirade.
thread dead, Simeon? This is the new ranking here. Is the thread in the red, which is good, I guess, not really, more in the green, but whatever. We're going to make it red. Is the thread in the red or is the thread dead?
I'm going to say this thread
Closer
is...
on the scale. Saying dead is 1, in the red is 10. Sure.
On a scale of 1 being dead and 10 being red, I'm going to say that this thread is the shambling corpse of Abraham Lincoln's zombie, and it is barely getting by. I'll give it a 2, because he does make several points that are true. He gives way too much leeway to the Justice League. If he had made this thread for Regenesis, and he had only talked about like the Regenesis way of doing the team-up cards, I would have probably agreed with most of it. It's the fact that there's 120... I don't know if I said this before. There's 120 team-up cards in this Justice League set, and there's only 4 per brick. That means if you spend $100, you're only getting 4 of these. And
yeah,
I just
it's bad.
There's really like some of his points are fine. I do think that the team up cards are good for thematic builds. One of the problems being that there's so few DC sets in Modern that if you ever have to do like a Modern fun like casual build, you just don't have a ton of stuff to choose from. Like if you want to play like the Martian Manhunter team up with like all these figures listed, you'll have to play mostly out of the Justice League set and like a future set maybe. Also, when these rotate, there will be people that have like spent hundreds of dollars on team up cards that are just worth their weight in paper, and that's kind of a distressing thought. I don't know.
All right.
I am torn.
I'm gonna rank it straight up O'Driscoll dead. Having none of it. But okay. I hope you guys enjoyed a change of pace for this week's Thread Dead Redemption. We spent a long time on it. I realize. Sorry guys. We also talked about killer clowns and video games maybe for a bit too long on our Heroclix podcast. So we're gonna go ahead and move right on into the community section.
There are dozens of us. Dozens.
Community Tuesdays this question this week. It is 10 p.m. Give me a break. Do you have any custom Heroclix figures? What is your favorite? Simeon, do you have any custom Heroclix figures?
Oh yeah, I've got a couple. So I've got the old school Dakin, which is the only Dakin that I think we've ever got. I've got one of him in an acrylic puddle that's like slightly blue with Wolverine doing his like kind of like pounce pose, so his like one fist is down and his claws up, and he's holding him down because that's how Wolverine killed his son. At least that one son. He's killed multiple of his sons. So yeah, that's the Web of Spider-Man Dakin. That's the only one that we've ever gotten. I guess there's 2 in that set. I also, at the height of Vulture, I took the Death figure from the Rest in Peace set, the Undead set, and I took the Death cloak, the head of Death off, and I put it on where Vulture's head should be, and I also took his scythe and put it in Vulture's hand because it just seemed fitting. So that was a fun little custom, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I've seen it before. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's all right. It fits.
It adds.
It's like, you're still an ass for making that figure.
True, and for playing it.
Oh, that's what I mean. For playing it, yes. Not for
yeah. I have a few. I like the Frankensteining, cutting up, painting figures, stuff like that. I made a Soldier 76. That seemed all right. On the flip side, I made several Team Fortress 2 characters, Pyro Heavy, Demo Man, Soldier. And then probably my favorite is Ash, because I actually had a good dial for him using Archon. I just think that fits really well from Secret Wars Battleworld for an Ash Williams from Evil Dead dial. So yeah, those are probably my favorite customs I have made. I'm gonna read 3, and we're gonna keep it to a tight 3 here. We're just gonna go quick back and forth. Banzai Sapling, Vigilante Banzai Sapling says, I have custom paint jobs, Young Justice, Superboy, and Artemis, but no mods yet, though I have pieces to mod Shifting Focus Punisher into Old Hob from IDW TMNT when I get around to it.
I should also say, I do have, from the Star Wars Attack Wing, I have a Millennium Falcon that I put on the Invisible Jet dial, because it's got like energy shield and hypersonic, and it just kind of makes sense, and it's a much cooler sculpt. On Facebook, Luis Hernandez says, I put the Dark Knight Rises Joker head on the Web of Spider-Man nurse's body. Don't worry, it was the common one that got the treatment, not the rare. So that's a nod to the Joker walking away from the What Joker was that? Not Jared Leto, the one before that, the good one.
Do you want me to give it to you?
Knight's Tale.
Keep going for it. Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Heath,
that one maybe.
Heath Candy Bar was his name.
Here we are.
That's the Heath Ledger Joker when he's walking away from the hospital. And he's pressing the button. It's good. It's a good custom. It's a cool, unique.
Memorable scene.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Derek says, shout out to the guy on Facebook who painted his Phoenix with a glow-in-the-dark paint, straight fire emoji. What a guy. Shout out to that gentleman. Do you know who that was? Or is it not in our Facebook comments? It's just somewhere on Facebook. The Phoenix with the glow-in-the-dark paint. Probably not in our Facebook comments.
See it
somewhere out there in Facebook land, yeah.
Oh, I do remember seeing it, though, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a glow-in-the-dark on the Rachel Summers, yeah. Tyler Murin says, just custom pogs and replacement cards. Every time there is a custom, I think they release it. Like the last figure I was going to make / custom was a WWE The Fiend Bray Wyatt, and he's being released in the up-and-coming Series 2.
Yep.
That's how they do it. They wait until you make your own, and then they're like, I guess we'll make our own.
Sadly, yes. Heroclix says, I've done some custom paint jobs on figures for friends. The last custom I made was the Goon. You know, that guy. I'm sorry if he's a well-known character and I just don't know who he is. I'm sorry.
The Goon is, he's from not indie. He's not a Marvel or DC guy, but he's like just this big dude that's like, I don't know, he looks like a homeless guy that's big and gruff. It's been a while since I've actually read the comic, so don't quote me. Dylan Disney says, I have two, a DC 75 Ares, a friend made me before he left the game, and an AA Wonder Woman. What's AA?
Alcoholics Anonymous Wonder Woman. Sorry, it's the first.
No, I meant the name of the set, Kalder, not the.
Arkham Asylum.
Yes,
maybe?
that's the one.
We don't have Wonder Woman sitting on like a fold-out metal chair.
No.
In a circle. Hi, I'm
Wonder Woman. I assumed that the lasso of truth would help there. Yes, from the Arkham Asylum set. So he says. Wonder Woman from Arkham Asylum, who is brandishing a bored Superman instead of a pillar. And then he added a picture of it, and it's pretty sweet. The Ares glows. So, like, the Ares base has, like, a light in it. So That's the Ares that I used in one of our Thursday throwdowns, the 14 attack one. And then this is like the board Superman who's just like arms straight down and just blank expression.
Yeah, so if people don't know, that's the Superman I mean when I say low T Superman.
Okay.
That's low T Superman, yeah.
Being used as an object is pretty cool.
As an object. You could say she's objectifying Superman, and I'd be okay with that.
Also on Facebook, just a lot of custom pictures that people posted of their own custom work. So if you want to check out some of the cool customs that were commented on here, make sure to do that. There's some cool. There's like a Speed Racer. There's a Witchblade. I think that's Speed Racer. I don't really know. I haven't watched it. I don't know anything about it. But yeah.
Okay.
That's it for Facebook.
All right. Yeah, well, that's Community Tuesdays. So thank you to everybody that answered on a Community Tuesdays question. Obviously, it's Community Tuesdays. We put it up every Tuesday. Yeah, you guessed it right. So if you're just scrolling through, see it there, and like, hey, look, it's a Tuesday. I better go see what the Dial H boys are asking me to talk about this week. And if you got some input, well, we'd love to hear it. Moving on, let's go ahead and give you a Jedi Legend Heroclix tip of the week.
You want to sell me death sticks?
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life?
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Now I'm going to read this, and I'm going to read it how he wrote it. And then I'm going to tell you about the picture. All right? So if I say something wrong, I like to make this explicitly clear, because I do not have the time. I do not care, nor do I have the time for people to tell me how wrong I am. I get it. This is how Jedi Legend wrote it. This is the picture of reference. That's what we're reading. We're reading what I'm getting here. Whether or not, just whatever. You understand? It's a straight line, but isn't a direct path. Direct path is a game term and applies when stated. It's first square or more of a single character in a single direction along a horizontal, vertical, diagonal path. I mean, it's in the rule book, and it still gets questions. The figure is of a figure. None of it says direct path. I'll mind you, it says in direct line of fire, which is column ways, right? That's just a normal square, square, square. And then the other one is direct line of fire, which is also a direct line of fire, right? That's diagonal, which is diamond, diamond, diamond. This is understand for a audio visual cue. And then one is the indirect line of fire. So these aren't paths, because line of fire is different from path, but this is what the figure is showing. And the indirect one is where it kind of crisscrosses all over the place.
Yeah.
Which is what I did last Thursday Throwdown when I said, this is a direct line of fire. And someone's like, it's not, though.
It's off by 1 square.
It was off by a tad, yeah.
Yeah, this is most important when using like the RAM ability. There's not a lot of figures that need direct paths. But like there's a few Juggernauts or Colossuses that use like that kind of thing. But like people that are mostly like chargy kind of guys, whether they're on a motorcycle or unstoppable or whatever they may be. So yeah. And again, to add to this, a direct line or a direct path is not a path that can double back on itself. So I know I mentioned this when we did Thread Dead Redemption about the Captain America shield, because he said when it's thrown in like a direct line of fire, and direct line cannot like double back because it's changing direction, and inherently in Heroclix it cannot change direction unless specifically stated.
Correctamundo, my man. So that brings us to kind of the end of the show. But before we go to the end, I want to go ahead and shout out Thursday Throwdowns. If you want to vote for those, check out Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also YouTube. You can vote on the last Thursday Throwdown video comment section if you want. You can also vote in Roll20. Not Roll20, goodness gracious, what's the other thing we use for Heroclix Online? Discord, that's what it is. Thank you. You can vote in that if you are a Patreon member. And if you are a Patreon member, thank you so much for your support of the show. If you want to become a Patreon member, you can donate as little as $1 a month. That's what I do. I donate like 10 or so different Patreon people, Heroclix, not Heroclix, YouTubers, whatever. I just toss them all $1. I think it's, I get value from them. They should get a little bit of value from me. It's not a lot, but, I know it helps. So go ahead, do that. We appreciate all the support. For Patreon rewards, we're going to start doing we sort of did some Bad Samaritan with Patreon. I want to start doing it every single week. So if that intrigues you, We're going to start doing that. And then also I want to do a Bad Samaritan tournament sometime. This is way off in the future probably, when we can start consistently playing Bad Samaritan every week with our patrons. And then for Thursday Throwdown, it's going to be Supernova and Origin. This is going to be the last non-carded set me and Simeon play. And it may also be our last game on Roll20.
Ooh, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Ooh.
Yeah, who could know? You're going to have to tune in 2 weeks from now when we're finally done with carded sets. But I'm excited.
Can't wait.
I get Supernova. Simeon gets Origin. Go look at those in HC Realms. See what figures you want us to play. Spoiler alert, please vote for the zombie figures in Supernova. They're so cool. Then just vote for whatever in Origin. I have no quarrel for what Simeon plays. Even if I instantly lose, I just want to play the zombies. So
I can't wait for the cards that are like special speed power, or like, no, it'll be like special attack, leap climb. And I'm like, why is this my special attack? Like,
those are
they used
worst.
to do that with some of the weird cards. They'd be like,
but so that way they could also let you have stealth.
They'd be like, charge and
so
leap climb. You could climb things or charge someone. Look at these combos you can do. Not at the same time, please. Yeah.
Combos that don't combo.
Yeah.
That's not a combo. So yeah. I also want to do this really quick. I have a ton of Supernova product. I bought hundreds of Supernova boosters, so that way every time I did an unboxing, I could open one. But now I'm realizing that I just have a bunch. So we're going to be doing much like how we did our Captain America tournament, we're going to be doing a Supernova Heroclix tournament where you will PayPal, whatever, $10, right? You'll get 2 boosters. I'll open them live, and then I'll say whose boosters I'm opening, open them up. That will be what you can use to build a 300-point team out of Supernova. And then eventually, when we figure out pricing and everything, you will get shipped your figures that you bought. You will literally buy these boosters, except I'm going to open them for you, but you're still going to get all the figures that you buy. It'll probably be like either a Cosmic Clash starter for maybe the main prize, for like a $50 cool stuffing gift card. It depends how many people we get to sign up for the tournament. It'll most likely be on a Saturday in the next, week or two, probably 1 or 2 weeks. If we can get a lot of people to sign up for just a fun little Saturday sealed, I think that would be pretty solid. So depending on how many people sign up, I'd like to get, at least 8, honestly, since the prize isn't like a brick or anything. I would like to at least get 8 people so I can have some fun prizes. So if a Supernova sealed, playing with some old Heroclix sounds fun to you guys, message the page. It is $10 for, just anybody, but if you support us on Patreon, you can subtract what you support us with off your tournament entry. If you support, give us $10 each month, then it's a free tournament entry for you. You give us $5, it's half off, etc., etc.
If you pay $100,
Supernova tournament,
you instantly win.
Yeah, you probably should. If you give us $100 a month, yeah, you can.
We'll mulligan your boosters until you get good pulls.
We will, and at a Supernova, it might be
a while.
It might be a lot. But, and of course, if you do pull a zombie, which is a chance, I will offer to buy it from you so I can just keep it, because I still need Wolverine and Hulk. So thank you very much. With that being said, so check it out. Thursday Throwdown, Patreon, Supernova tournaments, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening this far, and this is one of the longer shows we've had in a while, so we really appreciate your listenership. So I'm going to go ahead and end it so you can get back to all the important sitting around the house that you have to do. That is a joke. You're probably doing something more important, just kind of in these whatever. I'm just going to go ahead. Dial H for Heroclix. You can find us at facebook.com/Dial H for Heroclix. You can find us at YouTube at youtube.com/Dial H for Heroclix. Twitter is at Dial H4. That's the number 4 Heroclix. We're Instagram at Dial H4 Heroclix, all spelled out. It's only Twitter that has the number 4. We upload Thursday Throwdown every single Thursday. We upload the podcast every Saturday or Sunday. Really, we try to get it within the ballpark of a Sunday. So this one will be up on Sunday. That's just the way it be sometimes. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for all those that support us, and just supporting us by listening is a huge, huge thank you to those, because the fact that you listen already means so much to me. Simeon, go ahead and read us out of here.
Yeah, I just want to add, it really does mean a lot when I get listener feedback that's just like, hey, enjoyed the podcast. Just the fact that there's like somebody out there actually listening every week is encouragement enough for me. So with that, I say, Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day. You can buy the new Black Widow motorcycle for a cool $14.99 plus shipping. If you spend $100, of course, shipping's free. Use code DIAL5, and it's cheaper by some amount, and I'm not quite sure what it would be. But, you can still find cool stuff in stock every day at CoolStuffInc.com.
Ooh. Happy trails. Whoa, are you still listening to the show? Well, you may have noticed that we've been doing really cool kind of thematic titles these last couple of episodes for about 2 or 3 months now. Those titles actually are song references, maybe you've noticed, maybe you haven't, and they also kind of pertain to what happens in the episode. Going forward, those eagle-eyed or eagle-eared viewers of ours, if you guys can figure out both the song title, what it's a reference to, and what it's a reference to in the podcast, message us in Facebook, Twitter, and let us know, because I think they're really fun Easter eggs, and I hope you guys are having fun with them as well.